Hey guys, I think it's time to retire my Dell Studio XPS. I've been running it 24/7 about 4.5 years now, and I'm starting to get the occasional hardware glitch. Plus, it's hardly the fastest machine compared to what's available now. So here's a look at its current specs. So I'm running Windows 7 Home Premium, 64-bit, Service Pack 1, and this is an Intel i5, 750, 2.67 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, and so I think I have two 500 gig drives in the machine right now. So the new machine is also a Dell XPS, but with considerably better specs. Here are the specs for the machine I ordered, and yeah, it's another Dell. Now, if you're wondering why don't I roll my own, I've built many PCs from the ground up, going back to a PC XT, probably around 88, as in 1988, and I've pretty much seen all the processors, from the AMDs to Cyrix and even IDT. Yeah, IDT briefly made a 486 clone processor. And I did the Intel Celeron 300A overclocked, and the AMD Duron where you'd rub pencil lead over the laser edge jumpers on top to increase the core frequency and all that good stuff. But basically, since I use a computer to make a living now, I just don't have time to mess with that. I just want to open up the box and use it. So when it came down to order this, I was glad that I could still get the same version of Windows. I could have gotten Windows 8, but again, I just don't want to deal with it. So, another XPS, this time it's a model 8700. Got 4 times the RAM, with 16 gigabytes, faster RAM. What I think is a decent video card. I'm just hoping they can support dual monitors in some manner, but we'll get more into that later. And it's an i7 processor, which is on here somewhere, I think. Oh yeah, way down here. So it's a 4th generation Intel Core i7 4770, 8 meg cache, blah blah. So I just opened up the box. I have not powered it on yet. Here's a look at the machine. I think the cabinet's exactly the same, only this one's black and the other one's white. And they include a very basic keyboard and mouse. And that's it. I don't think there's even a CD that came with this. So I was studying the connectors on the back. Got plenty of USB ports. 4 USB 3s on the back, and more up top, including a microphone and headset, and a couple more USBs here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we got 8 USB 3.0s, and they've thrown a couple USB 2.0s. Ethernet, power supply, status indicator, just a reset button. And then here's where things get a little more interesting. So I guess there's an option where you just use video on board, but I have an upgraded video card. Now my monitors are both a bit old. I got a Samsung SyncMaster 204B out here, and in the other room I got, I think it's a 2433. Neither one of these is new enough to have HDMI, but they still have, I think, something on here. I think they have a DVI, so I can use that. Yeah, that'll work. But I'd kind of like to use both monitors like I've been doing, and for that I guess I'll need to get an HDMI to DVI adapter, assuming this supports 2 monitors and you can't only just use one of these or none. Now the other thing, something kind of new to me, this guy and one of these is what they call a DisplayPort, which I guess is a fairly new thing and not all that widely supported. Sort of an offshoot of DVI or or VGA. It's more widely used in computers than in AV equipment. Now, my one concern about going from HDMI to DVI is I was reading that HDMI only supports up to 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080 resolution. Well, my main monitor is better than that. It's 1920 by 1200. So I don't know if HDMI would be happy with that. Well, only one way to find out, I suppose. I've noticed that basically all the monitors, certainly the inexpensive ones out there, are 1080p. In other words, 1920 by 1080. And it might not seem like much, but that extra 1200 or extra 120 pixels vertical does make a big difference. Especially when you're viewing documents and you got two pages side by side vertically. So this one's getting pretty long in the tooth. I don't know, maybe 8 years old now, so I wouldn't mind replacing it, but I gotta do some shopping around to see what I'd want to replace it with. I'd hate to actually take a step down in resolution. This one I have to look it up. It's 4:3 format, but it's pretty high res. It's not 1920 wide. Oh yeah, now I remember. It's 1600 by 1200, so it's not as wide as a 1080p monitor, but it's taller. So it may be a bit old, but it's actually a pretty darn nice monitor. This has got to be just about the cheapest keyboard and mouse I have ever encountered. I won't be using these. I've got better options in my office. Alright, so I got everything hooked up and powered up. Let's see if this thing actually turns on. Took longer than I expected it to. That's a good sign. Alright, so assuming this comes up, I can begin the fun process of copying over all my files. I decentralized a while back, which made migrating PCs so much easier. By that I mean I went to Gmail for my email and a lot of offline storage. In other words, the cloud. I put a lot of stuff in the cloud, both for backup and so I could switch between computers without having to copy over everything. Also, a lot of the software tools I use are online. So then the main thing will be to copy over all my video files and all my photographs and my video editing software. Hopefully I can reuse the license key and it won't complain about that. Funny how many times you come across something that's years old and it still has the clear plastic covering up the logos and such. What we got up here is all for all the flash memory cards. I believe it's got a DVD burner in here. Looks pretty cheesy. Probably nothing behind here. Oh, just a spare bag. Alright, I'll go through this setup stuff and I'll resume. See if we can do a little benchmarking. It's finally done doing its thing. And it doesn't leave you with a whole lot to look at. Alright, start desktop. I was surprised during the setup that it asked me for my Wi-Fi info. It never even occurred to me that this would have built-in Wi-Fi. All my PCs have always just been hardwired with Ethernet. But I suppose everything's Wi-Fi now. But I'm curious to see what the performance is like with Wi-Fi versus blah, blah, blah. I mean, I gotta figure uploading like a YouTube video is gonna be faster with a gigabit Ethernet hardwired versus my Wi-Fi router. But we shall see. Alright, begin test. Okay, that's actually not bad. About 29 down and 6 up. I'll check it on my other older Dell with the Ethernet connection and see what it's like. Here's the results of the test on my old Dell PC. It's only 9.5 down, but the upload's about the same at 6. So by way of comparison, I also ran the same test on an iMac using Wi-Fi, and it has the same results as the Wi-Fi on the new Dell PC. So I won't notice any improvement on upload, but it's curious that the download is about 4 times faster using Wi-Fi than a hardwired Ethernet. It makes me wonder, is the bottleneck using the Ethernet cable, or is it something on this computer, maybe just because it's accumulated so much stuff running all these years it's slowed down, or this is an older PC? I don't know. But that'll be a nice treat when I get the new one up on the desk. Well, I've found the source of my bottleneck. It is my Wi-Fi router. I've got a Netgear WNR 2000 and 300. And the 300 means it's 300 megabits per second Wi-Fi performance. However, the fast Ethernet ports are only 10/100. I thought they were gigabit. So in other words, 100 megabits per second max on using a cable, 300 Wi-Fi, which is why my Wi-Fi download speed is 3 times what the Ethernet cable can do. Alright, well that's fine. I'm upgrading to the new PC. I'll get 3 times the download speed, which is awesome. However, I need to copy hundreds of gigabytes from this machine to the new one. And I just tried doing some tests using a cable. It will take many, not only hours, days to copy all my files. So either I gotta wait days, which I'm not gonna do, or I gotta find a way around this. I may just have to run out and buy the cheapest gigabit switch I can find, so I can hook these 2 machines up with a cable and copy these files over quickly. Aha! I have another option. Just remembered I had a 320 gig external drive, USB 3.0 capable, so I'm transferring over with this and I'm getting about 25 times the performance I was getting over Ethernet. So I'm going to copy my files onto this and then copy them from this to the new computer. I was able to copy over all my key files in just a few hours, and I was able to reinstall my copy of Visual Studio without any issues. I just used the same serial number again. So I'm getting ready to swap them out, and then I'm going to attempt to edit my next YouTube video using this. Also, during the file copy process, I was prompted to install an NVIDIA video driver. I guess it was using the generic driver. That made a big difference in the video performance. It's noticeably faster than this guy. So here they are side by side, and I found a manufacturing date on this, and it is from 2009. So yeah, this ran 24/7 for about 5 years with no problems. I know, people, like to gripe about a Dell. I don't think people gripe as much as they used to gripe about Dell, but I've gone through several and never had any issues other than the normal wear and tear. So hopefully this one will last 5 years as well. And you can see how little the design has changed. And this one has a flip-down door with 2 USB ports inside, whereas on this one they're on the outside and there's no flip-down door. Other than that, obviously one's white and one's black, but basically the same thing. So I guess they aren't big on changing their cases. Oh, and you may have noticed that I've been having my PC sitting on top of this beat-up old Admiral. Well, I've got several in my office, and I was searching around for some knobs because I knew I had some extras, and some of these knobs aren't quite the same shade of brown. When I moved the PC, guess what I found? 2 sets of Admiral knobs, so mystery finally solved. Alright, so I'm going to get the new PC set up. And something else I want to try is, you may have realized when I was checking the upload speeds, that this was 3 times this. But I think it was probably still being capped by my N300 router, so I'm going to try hooking this straight up to my cable modem and bypass the Wi-Fi router altogether and see what kind of upload speeds I get. Alright, things are looking good. It is powered up. It recognized this monitor, which is a bit larger, and the keyboard and mouse I'm currently using. I'm not going to use the ones that came with it. I've been using these things for years now, the thumb trackball from Logitech. I love these. Really cut down on the strain on your wrist because you can just rest your arm here all day and you just use your thumb to move the mouse around the screen. And this, I go through keyboards at least once a year, and this was on sale at my local Micro Center. $20 refurbished Microsoft wireless keyboard. It works fine, decent enough key action. The only thing I don't like is that they give you a wrist rest here, which is fine, but my hands are big, so it doesn't do me any good because my hands are normally like this, so they're just sitting on the desk. Anyways, oh well. Alright, so I have bypassed my broadband router. I guess I've got this plugged in straight to my internet router, so let's do that speed test again. Now, if this is noticeably higher, I'm going to have to think about upgrading my Wi-Fi router, but no, it's not. A little bit faster, but not significantly. Alright, good. So I'm going to proceed now with trying to edit my first YouTube video on this PC. So hopefully you will be seeing a YouTube video shortly that was edited and uploaded on this new Dell PC. Won't be on this computer though, because I'm obviously recording this right now, so what I'm going to edit is the next installment on my Predict a Holiday cabinet restoration. Now I still have the single monitor, which is going to drive me nuts, and I'll show you why. So I just dumped contents of my camera onto here, so I have all these parts here, right? So I want to drag and drop them from here to here, but I can't have both windows up at the same time. I drag one segment over, and now the Explorer's gone away. I got to bring it back up. Plus, I like to play them by double-clicking on them and watching them here while I have the editor side by side, so I can see what parts I want to keep and where to stop and start it. So usually I have this on the monitor that used to be over here, and then I'm editing it over here. Well, I'll figure it out. I know that you can use the preview inside here, but I find it awkward to use, and I'll show you why. So you got this white slider bar here while you're watching your video, and say you got into about here, and you say, okay, I want to include everything from this point on, This thing below it, this orange thing, that's your trimmer. As soon as I click on that, the white mark will slide over. And now I lose my spot. I don't know how, maybe there's a shortcut, I don't know how to make this orange thing jump over to where the white thing is currently positioned. I've tried right click, left click, shift click, control click, alt click, everything I can think of. Nothing will make these two snap to the same position. Click, drag, and ooh, where was it? Where was it? Right about here, I think, somewhere. I'm not sure. So, very annoying. Alright, I got my video all edited. Once I got the hang of using one monitor, it actually wasn't too bad. And now I'm really hoping to be blown away when I render this. I have been doing all my videos in iPhone 4 iPad HD. I could go one notch better, and for really short videos I've done this a couple times, which is full-blown HD. That takes a lot of processing, and the files are huge. Actually, maybe it's not that much processing, but the files are definitely massive. This takes a bit of processing, but the files are smaller. So, 17-minute video. On my old setup, this would take maybe half an hour. Like 2 minutes for every minute of final output. I'm hoping this is noticeably faster. We shall see. So it's 10:26 p.m. right now. Let's see how long this takes. I've yet to find a channel master to look. Okay, done encoding in about 18 minutes, or in other words, half the time of the other computer. So I'm a happy camper. And I also noticed there is a new version. I'm using, what am I on? Version 5, I think. Yeah, Corel Video Studio Pro X5. And they're up to X7, which is 64-bit. I guess these older versions are 32-bit. I can upgrade for $50, which I'm inclined to do. And that may give me another nice performance bump. But considering that I discovered that I inadvertently been capping my download speed because of my router, and 2 terabytes of drive space, 4 times the RAM, a faster processor, and all the rest of it, I'm very happy. Now I just need to decide, do I want to fork out a few bucks to buy a copy of Microsoft Office, or go with OpenOffice or some other equivalent, and figure out how to set up a second monitor. But that's going to be it for now. I hope you enjoyed this look at my new Dell XPS. Well, no, that's not actually the end of the video, because before I had a chance to edit and upload this video, I was able to run over to my local Micro Center computer superstore and get an adapter. It's about $8. This guy right here, HDMI to DVI. Be careful if you're going to get these adapters and you get the right male and female ends and all that. The only thing I'm not entirely happy with is that it's right next to the DVI I'm using, and these two smash into each other. I may have to get like a Dremel tool and cut them down a little bit. Otherwise they do work as is. They're just cocked a little bit. They're not tightened all the way down as well as they could be. But they certainly work, so both monitors are running at full resolution. I'm back to editing videos the way I like to, and everything is hunky-dory. And I will fork out the money for a copy of Office, I decided. So that is that.